The commits are rolling in. Yes, welcome back on in to the Auburn Angle. I'm your host, Graham McLean, and thank you so much for tuning in and listening today. You know, the recruits and the commits are slowly starting to roll in for Auburn in the portal, and I'm not going to lie, it's a lot more USF guys than I thought it would be. You know, as I'm filming this, it is late Monday night, Monday the 5th, and so yeah, it was a pretty busy day for the Tigers. I know of at least five commits today, and every single one of them was from USF. So I'm a little shocked at that. I knew we were going to get some USF guys, but I didn't think we were going to get this many. I think we're up to let me check real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're up to eight USF guys, and there's still 2 more that have not committed yet that we expect to commit. They're 2 pretty big names. So yeah, today in today's show, we're gonna do just a little bit of kind of what we did yesterday. We're gonna go over some of these new recruits. Some of these new commits, some of these new Auburn Tigers. And I'm gonna go through the entire list of who we have so far. I got all the names in front of me, and then as this goes up tomorrow morning, or whenever you're watching this, Auburn basketball has a game today. I think we play at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. tonight. That is brutal because I don't understand why Auburn has had so many late tip-offs this year, but it's okay. It is what it is. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Let's start with I think our first commit, which was I talked about him a little bit, but Lachlan Hewlett. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not entirely sure how to say that, but that is the backup quarterback from USF. He was a true freshman last year, and I don't think he even saw the field, but just a guy that I'm sure Golish likes. Might think that he could have a future at Auburn, or we'll see. Well, I don't know the path of playing time there for him, but we'll see. Especially with this day in the portal, like it's just so hard to be a starting quarterback somewhere. So we'll see what happens there. But it's just a good depth piece to the room. After this room got poached, as I'm recording this today, so yesterday when this goes up, Deuce Knight did officially enter the portal. There had been a lot of smoke about him possibly returning after some stuff, but it sounds like he will be leaving Auburn, no matter what. And some early reports I'm hearing is Ole Miss, so we'll see what happens there. I think that's pretty interesting, but Trinidad did say he would go back to Ole Miss if he got his waiver, so it'll be interesting to see what goes down there. If that's the case, obviously Deuce will sit for a year. I don't really think that would be a competition at all. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see that if Deuce wants to sit there for a year or here for a year, and obviously it sounds like he's choosing to not sit here for the year. So yeah, that's interesting to say the least. So yeah, Lachlan Hewlett committed, signs, and is a depth piece for this quarterback room. The next one I'm going to go into is Christian Neptune, wide receiver from USF as well. Sorry. Another one that I believe is a little bit of a depth piece. You might see the field a little bit, but not a ton. He might be deeper in the rotation, but still super awesome to have him on the team. What an awesome last name. I know I talked a little bit about him yesterday because we talked about the whole favorite planet situation. So yeah, that is just another great depth piece. Next one I'm going to go into is Corey Pettigrew. Like I said, another wide receiver from the USF, and it makes sense that we're bringing in all these wide receivers because this wide receiver room was poached. Obviously losing Cam Coleman, losing Malcolm Simmons, losing Perry Thompson, losing Horatio Fields, all that. Jazz, and so it was to be expected that we picked up quite a bit in the portal because there weren't a ton in this high school class. So not super surprising there. Next one I'm gonna go into is the one person so far on this transfer portal class that is not from USF. We have 9 guys, 8 of them are from USF, but the one non-USF guy we have right now is long snapper Hudson Powell. He's from Miami, Ohio. And will be joining the Auburn Tigers. I don't really know the situation in the long snapper room. I know we've signed a couple in like recent classes, and so I don't know if Reed Hughes has any more. But we signed I think Keaton McNutt was his name. I think he's still on this roster. So yeah, I don't know if he'll play. So, but at the same time, that's not a super big deal. Many people can snap the ball. I'm so sorry. Next one I'm going to is a pretty big one. I'd say, and I'm gonna pull up his stats real quick because I'm curious, but also I want to talk a little bit about it. Let's see. So this next guy is Jonathan Eccles, tight end out of USF. And so his stats aren't as impressive as I thought they were going to be, but still not bad. He had 9 receptions on the year for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, 9 receptions and 3 of those are touchdowns. That's pretty impressive. He was a true sophomore this past year, so he's developing. Yeah. So he only had 1 reception in 2024, and then obviously 9 this past year. So obviously, if Golish wants to bring him over from USF, I think that's pretty telling that he believes in him and thinks that he could be a pretty good piece for the Tigers. So we'll see what happens there. I still think we might bring in a guy or two just because I feel like you might want a little bit more of a proven guy in the tight end room. That has a little bit better stats, or just has played a little bit more, So that will be interesting to see what Auburn chooses to do there. The next person I'm gonna go into is, I think it's Nakai Davenport, running back from USF. I think he will just be a depth piece, which sucks because he played for South Florida. Let me look up his stats. All right. Okay, yeah. So I mean, he was, from what this looks like, is he was the guy for South Florida. Sophomore, 98 carries for 612 yards and 7 touchdowns, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. So, yeah, he didn't have any stats in 2024. So, obviously he got playing time, but this it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this running back room. Auburn's had a couple other guys come to visit, and still, of course, Jaheim White from West Virginia is making his visits, but I think Auburn still feels pretty good there. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we assume from what we know so far, and we haven't heard anything otherwise to think differently, that Jeremiah Cobb is going to be the guy next year. And sounds like this staff is pretty high on Alvin Henderson. He hasn't entered the portal yet, or no one's really heard about that at all. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Like I said, I think the staff likes him. So we'll see if he gets a little bit more playing time, because he really didn't get any this past year. But he did keep his red shirt, so he is redshirting. So that will be interesting to see. The next one is Gavin Jenkins, the first defensive player on this list. Yeah. Cornerback, again, from USF. I think out of all the USF corners that we potentially could get, I think Gavin Jenkins is probably like the one that wouldn't play a ton. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, the path to playing time for him doesn't seem super clear. But it's always good to have a depth piece. Of course, again, after a lot of this room was poached. I mean, man, it feels like so many of our skill rooms were poached, but it is what it is. But yeah. Next one is a pretty big name that I'm actually really excited about. I'm gonna pull up his stats really fast. Okay, his name is Jeremiah Koger, wide receiver from USF, and he was a true freshman this past year, and he had 38 receptions for 597 yards and 8 touchdowns, and he wasn't even their wide receiver one. He makes it official, and he signs with the Auburn Tigers. So what an awesome pickup there. I think if I'm right, I think he played at St. Francis, which obviously a lot of you know at this point that Auburn kind of has like a pipeline with St. Francis, and a lot of that Durkin having ties to Maryland and stuff like that. But there were a lot of players on this team that were St. Francis guys. So that will be. I mean, he seems like a pretty solid player. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think now that with Sam Turner returning, there's gonna be a little bit of a competition there between these two. And so that's gonna be an electric competition, and that's gonna be fun to see. He has an impressive size. And like I said, he was just a true freshman, so he will be coming through his sophomore year, and that there's a pretty big jump between those 2 years, like I've said before. But 6'3", 209 pounds. He's got good size, and I think he is capable of being a good SEC receiver. So we'll see what happens there between him and Sam Turner. Last name I have on this list is the most recent recruit, or one of the most recent. It might not be the most recent. It's between him and Koger, I think. But it is Fred Gaskin, DB, again from USF. This guy is good. He was named all conference. I think at South Florida, and so I think, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to find some stats. So yeah, had successful years. Yeah, here it is. 28 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, and 2 pass deflections. And he was also a true sophomore. So they're bringing in some younger talent, and I didn't realize this. When we were talking about a lot of these guys in the first place, I didn't realize how young a lot of these guys were. So that's super promising. I mean, they are really building a young defensive core on this team, which is so awesome. That a lot of these guys have so much talent, and they've already been able to show it because a lot of them played as freshmen, and so that is just makes it so much better going into this next year. And then obviously they are bringing in some older guys in offense, but that was to be expected, especially after who we had leave, and then also just like the situation the offense was in last year. So yeah, that is all the names I have on the list, and I think that's all of them so far. I'm so hesitant to talk about Byron Brown at this point because every day you hear information like, oh, it's gonna be the next day, and it never happens. So I'll say it again. I think he's gonna be an Auburn Tiger. I don't think there's anything to worry about that there, but when it happens, I'm not sure. If we get through tomorrow's Tuesday, if we get through all day tomorrow and it still hasn't happened, then I'll start having some questions. I'm not gonna full on panic yet, but I'm gonna be questioning some stuff. But from what some of the more recent information I've gotten, it sounds like I'm hesitant to say it should be tomorrow, but because I keep saying that, but maybe this time it's for real. But that would be super electric, of course, to have Byron Brown on this team. Another player to look out for, and wide receiver 1 at USF, and presumably if he commits to the Tigers, which it sounds like it is, going to be the Tigers, Keyshawn Singleton. Elite player from USF, was their wide receiver 1, guy that, Byron trusts, Golis trusts, and I think will fit in nicely with this offense. And so, yeah, I'm super excited about all this. It's good. It is good that Golis is bringing some of his guys that he trusts. Obviously, he's not going to bring everyone, and it's apparent that he's not bringing everyone. But the guys that he does bring, he trusts, and so I trust that too. And they already know this team, and they know a lot this staff, so it should be a pretty easy transition. So yeah, I think that's about all I have for the football side. Like I said, today Auburn basketball plays. I think they're playing. Oh, I just looked up. I think it's Texas A&M. Let me double check that real fast. Yep. So Texas A&M tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Bucky ball, playing some Bucky ball. So yeah. I don't know what's going to happen, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I haven't really watched any Texas A&M games this year, but yeah, I don't know. And one thing that concerns me is Tahad hasn't played his best at home. Plays better on the road, but he hasn't played his best at home. We'll see if the Tigers can bounce back again after the Georgia loss, the brutal Georgia loss, after an incredible comeback to send that game into overtime. Very frustrating loss, but yeah, Steven said after the game and in the presser, I think he had today, that Auburn had a ton of defensive mistakes, and I think he listed it was like 127 defensive mistakes that he counted alone, and so they have a lot to fix on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side is getting better, and I'm not super worried about the offense, but the defense is concerning. And he said that Jovic was their best player overall, like in the one-on-one situations on defense, even guarding big guys and small guys. So really loving the hustle we're seeing out of Jovic. He wants to get better, and it's clear that he wants to get better. So I think he's become a fan favorite pretty quickly. Yeah. So not much to say about the basketball game. Just we'll see what happens. But that's about all I have for today. Like I said, I just want a quick reminder again. I am joining the team over at the Barn, Auburn. Love for y'all to go check them out. They're fantastic over there. I mean, all their content is so great, and so I watch it every single day. So y'all go check them out. I do a nightly show, Monday through Friday, called The Social Hour with Hunter Bussey. So y'all go check out that. Give it some love. Like those videos. Subscribe to the Barn. All that stuff. Because they're awesome over there. Like I said, so we'll be doing this daily. This should come out around 7 a.m. And yeah. Oh, tomorrow during the game, I'll be on the Barncast, which is through the Barn. We go live during games and we talk about, we just talk about the game and we watch it together. While you watch, we all watch and we talk about it. So if you just want to, listen to something while you're watching the game, feel free to come on over and join into that. And we have a ton of fun over there. It's always crazy. And if you tune in to tomorrow night's social hour, we have a clip from the most recent Barncast, and it's hilarious. And it's already out on Twitter somewhere. I think it's on the Barn Twitter page. If you want to go check it out, it's so funny. So yeah, love for y'all to go support that. Support those guys. I think that about does it for today. Really hoping we get some Byron Brown news, but I'm gonna stay silent until we do, because I don't want to overtalk it. So yeah, I think that about does it. Please like the video, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.